Oh, Kisei! No dancing this time, not for you. But we've got a big game for you. It's Chiefs and Kanga coming up very shortly. I hope you had a nice break because you're going to need it. Kanga about to ruin the perfect split.
How much do you pay you?
They pay me about... I'll talk to you after
I don't know about that one.
Do you want some?
Oh.
You don't?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Either way, look, this game going to be an absolute scorcher. It's going to be fun because we want to see Chiefs succeed, but we also want to see how Kanga look going up against the big dogs, up against the most undefeated team ever in Oceanic history.
If they win, they would be... I mean, this is a conversation that we never resolved. Yes.
No. Yes, yes. Let's look at that team as well. 5 champions, 10 biceps, 10 deltoids as well, maybe. Who knows? Tally, I know he's got a couple of deltoids and he uses them all the time because he stands in mid. He blocks off all the attacks from both ways like 2 big shields. He puts them up and he wins.
He does win, and he wins all the time, being 20-0, where we are expecting Chiefs to have the most perfect split, as Alidoric would put it, because that's our expectations for this team of superstars, as I would say, because they have so many returning NA players where they have overseas experience.
And of course, Raze has gone for that haircut buff, going towards playoffs as well. Worked for him yesterday. Let's see who they're up against. It's the big dogs on Kanga. We got Benvi down bottom. The man doesn't have a picture yet because he came in halfway through the split. But since then, Kanga have been succeeding. He bought boots on Yumi yesterday. He gave you a reason, Kitty. But hopefully today, he buys items a little bit better.
Hopefully his ADC has better internet connection today, because I do believe the boots was a result of the boots on Yumi.
Draft.
So I will take that back. And the draft?
And better draft.
And better draft.
Hopefully bot lane is better.
Hopefully Kanga has better draft.
Yeah,
Yep.
what Rusty mentioned earlier to us as well was the fact that Kanga's drafts have been astronomical and they've been winning the game mostly through draft for this little run of success they had up until yesterday, where, you know, it didn't go as well as every other time, right, Rusty?
I want to caveat that by saying they haven't been winning solely from draft. I think their drafts have been a defining factor in that. However, they've made it a lot easier for themselves to get those wins. But yesterday is an example of what happens if the draft doesn't work. And I don't want to say yesterday was everything of an example, because it obviously did have its own reasons. It was quite rough, but an example of what can happen if things don't go right for Kanga. So you need to have your best foot forwards. I know they've got a lot of drafting emphasized there between their coaching staff and even Benvi, who's joined as a coach, that can do drafting. So I have high expectations for a winning draft, and I also know that if you want to beat the Chiefs, that's a good place to start.
It certainly would be. And this is the game where Tally decided to box the bloody camera. We'll see if we get a bit of that out of him. Always good to see the mongrel going a little bit crazy. Of course, the head-to-head Chiefs, you know, they haven't lost yet, so 2-0. Looking to make that 3-0, looking to make the split look clean going into playoffs. And I'd love to see it, but I'd also love to see Kanga succeed and potentially ruin that. It'd be crazy, wouldn't it? If Kanga, the 5th place team, comes in before playoffs and just ruins everything.
Yeah, it would be insane. The funny thing about the Chiefs, though, is that I don't think any of them originally cared about the perfect split, but now it seems like that's all they're talking about. So it's going to take something special to ruin the motivation that they've just spontaneously decided they do actually have. Maybe they were like, you're trying to hide it, like, oh, we don't want to say that we care, because if we lose, it's all over. But like, now we're 1 away. We care so much.
Yeah, it's that point where, you know, they didn't want to trip up early, probably didn't want to get too ahead of themselves. We've heard them say it a few times now. But let's hear from your boy Tally as well. Going into LCO, going into Chiefs, and then a little bit of extra in there as well. Here he is.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, bat. Like, there's no way. Why? Because it's like 6 at 9, so it's like dusk, and it's just bats. Like, you can see like the pointy like wings and everything. Yeah. And it's just like, now it's a bird. I actually remember when I joined, and I remember when I was signing with the Chiefs, and I actually I DM'd Carbon on Discord, and I said I'm sorry. I didn't say why. I just said I'm sorry. And then I remember when like the announcement first went up and he sent me a message back, he said, come on, Jimmy. Being on Chiefs is my most like fun org so far. I think it's mainly like due to the players and management. I think it's very relaxed, but like we're kind of stomping everyone, so you can say it's professional at the same time. Losing obviously felt bad, but I'm not just gonna like sit there for days and just like wallow in my sorrows. So I kind of just like, I knew that like, I'm just gonna take a break. From like I went on holiday for like a month, I came back. Everyone's feeling good. I think we're pretty confident with how we're playing because we're practicing. We're actually like using scrims to learn and not just to win. In the past, we've just played scrims to win and not been in the best form that we could have been in finals and going overseas. We're all like looking back and like trying to find how we can become better throughout the split. So you'll see like people saying like, yeah, we beat Chiefs in scrims and stuff, but like it doesn't really matter to us because like we're learning much faster than them, and like if we're improving at this rate and we're already ahead, then I don't think anyone will catch up. I wouldn't say we're like a Worlds team or an MSI team. It's just we valued Worlds more than anything else because it is like the peak of League. So being able to go there again is definitely what everyone's aiming for. The live, like the LAN events was definitely like, I'm extremely excited. You approach the game in the same way, but there's just like an extra added layer of intensity. Your mind kind of works like that extra bit faster. I think it'll be an even better experience, and being able to share the stage with like the CSGO tournament, which like I watched previously and like when it happened in Sydney was like insane. So that's like really exciting to be able to go to like such a big, like a prestigious event and perform. I think I'm really, like watching other regions, I'm really confident we can beat like the major regions, like lower seed teams, like confidently. In the past, like we've been really close, but like, I think with this roster, like it's a good shot.
Can you say that again one more time for Carbon, please?
Chiefs. This is a paid promotion right here. Chiefs is the best org I've been on.
Look, Chiefs paid him, Kanga paid me. You know, we're both promoting different things, different agenda. Now, great insight there from Tally as well. Not only coming into the LCO, he's leaked to the DDMs with him and Carbon, which I think was at least hilarious. But then also talking about what they may be able to achieve at Worlds as long as they get there. So this then comes back to that conversation of, are they getting ahead of themselves, or are they going to be able to lock it down all the way through playoffs, all the way through DreamHack? That's what they need to do.
I mean, Jimmy's also one of the players that is used to the stage, right? Tally's been on stages since 2014. Like the end of the year tournament in 2014 was, I think, when he first joined Legacy as a top laner.
Yeah.
And like that was stage games. That's how long he's been playing League of Legends for. I'd be not surprised to see them calm and collected coming into the stage again.
Now, someone that hasn't had as much stage presence or stage experience, but still has a lot of experience and has definitely bolstered the Chiefs throughout this split is Aladoric, and we have him here for the interview as well. Ali, how you feeling going into the final game? Perfect split. Is it happening today?
Feeling very good. Heard you guys saying that we weren't really like looking at a perfect split to start, which is true, but now that we're here, this is probably the game we're going to try our hardest to win. I'm going to be completely honest. So, yeah.
I'm sure that you are also one of the more excited peoples to go 21-0 because you've had that on your league status for at least 2 months from what I recall. So the dream is coming true. And as we are about to head into playoffs and closer to DreamHack, and I believe it's also been 3 years since we've actually had a live LAN event. So what are you most excited for DreamHack?
Definitely just like playing in front of a crowd. I haven't actually played in front of a crowd ever. Even though I played on stage, it wasn't in front of a crowd, so that's definitely what I'm looking forward to the most, I think, and just interacting with everyone at DreamHack would be really fun. Okay,
and look, you at least moving forward to playoffs, you get to scout out everything else all the other teams are doing, but going up against Kanga today, you said you're already going to try your hardest. How big's this sup gap going to be? Because Benvi's been playing relatively well. Yesterday, he had a bit of a hiccup.
Let's just say I wouldn't buy boots on Yumi. There's nothing else to say apart from that.
Let's go, Alador. You know, we're on the same wavelength here. All right, I'm going to let you go, my brother, and best of luck in your match. And hopefully we get a 21-0.
Thank you.
He gets 1 point. He gets 1 point. There you go. Slid it in right at the end. Everyone's doing it. Now, interesting interview. Good to hear that Aladoric, if he had to play Yumi, wouldn't buy boots on Yumi. Although we have seen him roaming on Yumi, doing all the warding and such when he has been there. But mostly he's just been going on the jungler, from what I remember. Has he only played the one Yumi game, or did he pick up 2?
I think he's only played one Yumi game.
Maybe one.
2 Nami games.
By the way, I think we can move past that boots were purchased on Yumi. I think we're past that at this point.
Are.
We are.
But are we?
I'm going to make it old.
I am.
You just don't want to hear the word Yumi
Yeah.
ever
Well, guess
again.
what's past
We could
Boots
just
on
ban it
Yumi.
in this game.
The Dare fan vote has passed Boots on Yumi. So let's talk about the Dare fan vote. You guys get those Twitch points in. Let us know how you think this one's going to go. Imagine if there's a Kanga upset. You could win so many millions and billions of Twitch points. All of the Twitch points that all of the probably Chiefs Twitch pointers are putting on there, because I'm thinking 90 to 10, or are you thinking like a 95 to 5? What are we expecting?
Oh, I mean, based off that Alidoric interview, he said that's the most serious you're going to see them.
I'd say it'd be
Yeah.
pretty lopsided.
Pretty one-sided graph, surely
sure.
about to show up on that screen.
Yeah, well, let's see if that one happens. Let's see if anyone has gone for the unthinkable. Ooh, no one's game. Kitty, I thought you might have been.
Nah, well, let's see. Because
Boots
from
on Yumi.
Kanga's last night's performance, I'm not going to mention the thing because that's banned on our
It is, it's
stream
banned. We're
now,
past it.
apparently.
We've
We're
moved
past
on.
it.
Are we?
I think if
Looking ahead.
Tallywhacker and Arthur shut down Fido enough, that is what we see when Fido's not ahead. Kanga looked a bit lost. And that is also what I'm expecting, because Chiefs know what Kanga's win con is, and that's what they're going to focus on.
I really love it when you like slide in the Tallywhacker, even though his
I
name has
keep
not been
calling him
Tallywhacker for a long, long
Tallywhacker.
time.
I'm so sorry, Tally.
That's okay. I'm sure he enjoys it. Either way,
Maybe he does, Mac.
Ah,
Maybe he
found
does.
another banned one. Moving on, we're past it.
That couch is trouble, isn't it? That couch really is.
That's an issue.
They're all one
ah,
an
God
issue.
damn it. Champ Select's not ready. But tell me, these two teams, we're going to be seeing them in playoffs. Any memorable moments from the split you want to bring up before we jump on into the playoff discussion?
Split one, lived up against Tapoon, Liv playing Jace,
Oh
Tapoon
God,
playing
yeah,
Malphite,
that
and
one.
just
Oh
Omega
God.
stomping.
Okay.
Or Mega Lol.
About-
Which
what
pretty
about-
much like happened in the
God, I
last
hope
game,
we
right?
don't
Like Liv
see
went
that
1-7 on Swain versus the Nas. Like I feel like Tapoon will kind of just win that in isolation. And you probably are just looking at mid jungle, like you said, Kitty, being like the big catalyst to try and shut down somebody like Fido.
Well, guess what? It is time for the third game of the day, because Champ Select is ready. We'll see you after this.
Thank you. Game 3. It's time. It really is time to see if the prophecy will fully complete itself. We've had one perfect split. We're looking at another team going for the perfect split to create a sandwich of success. Kanga on the left-hand side here,
Actually is a sandwich,
locking
though.
in Lucian.
Because there's one at the top, one at
That-
the bottom.
that's it, mate, you.
0-21 perfect split
There
up.
you go.
Lucian locked in does imply the Nami is going to be sure to follow here for Benvi. We will eagerly await that one. I would be shocked if Chiefs try to take that duo away. What is interesting is that the Lucian was picked first, right? Wukong and Pantheon both removed. That is a very early Kalista. Right?
Look at the smile on Raze.
Yeah, Alidoric and Raze were all smiles. What are they going to pick with this? Is there something more to it? That's the question. Of course, you know that Arthur is a fantastic Lee Sin player. We highlighted 2 of those jungle champions being taken off the board. That and the Draven being banned away from Raze. There's something going on in the Chiefs camp just based off those player camps, but let's just expect 1, a jungler, and 2, a Nami, and that should be the first 3 here for Kanga.
Yeah, what do we get out from the side of Foreigner? Because he's had his moments, right, when he's flexed around when Wukong and stuff have been denied away, playing the Poppy, playing the Lilia, opting for another Poppy game here today. Nami, as is expected. What do the Chiefs go for here, right? Because
Yeah,
the
that makes
Kalista
sense
with the
too.
Renata has been the hot flavor, at least this split.
Yeah, that makes sense as well, right? Like the Lucian who wants to play aggressively, wants to be dashing forwards. If you dash into a handshake, you just get pushed back, right? And then the Nami doesn't get to provide anything because you're threatening the Q2 stun onto her regardless. And that kind of is in the zone, in the range of a Kalista auto attacking you as well. And provides a bit of extra shield just to get through the Nami harass and stay in lane a bit better. So I feel like this is an earlier patch type of draft of League here so far. We're missing all of the top side of the map being on the red side of the map. You would expect this is really good for the Chiefs, given that Tally is good at picking like a 4th pick Diffusal champion. So if they're able to ban some good mid lane options, that Cannon ban implies a Gnar is going to be picked by Lived. It does make you wonder where else they would go. Topman could also just pick the Gnar if they wanted to ban some champions that deal with it, such as the GP. But GP's also been nerfed on this patch. I don't think we've seen it once.
No, and having spoken to a few players, they've said, you know, it's no longer one of those champions where you can just sort of safely lock it in like a Gwen and just say, hey, it's going to do what it needs to do, which is always interesting. Jack's been taken away as well, another champion that you were hiding from the last game that could certainly be in the consideration,
Gwen,
especially
then.
with Gwen still up.
Yeah. Looking like it could just be a Gwen fourth pick here for the Chiefs if that's the path that they want to take. And Kanga are going to ban top laners to make that potentially even easier for them.
And Chiefs have just missed the ban. It's not been relegated from them. They've just decided, you know what, we don't need it.
All right. Sometimes you get lost in conversation. Gwen going to be recognized here by Kanga. I think that's really smart, but again, Gnar exists, right? You've banned the cannon to open up a potential Gnar. And I think what was just going to be for the Chiefs maybe like a Lissandra or a Swain or, you know, something that just gets picked in mid lane like a Veigar that just perseveres and survives. And, you know, Fido is prone to that as well. Even with Kanga's draft, they're going to be looking for some kind of scaling mid option, surely. Gnar just gets locked in for free. And the counter gets to go for mid as a result of those bans.
Yeah, it certainly does. And it almost looks like it was written in the stars, right? Lived very happy that he's got his hands on the Ornn again. 4 games now in a row. Certainly is his bread and butter. What would the last pick here be for Fido? This is when that Yone came out to play, right? When he veered away temporarily from all those control mages, which he's such a feared factor on.
I mean, surely it's Veigar. Like you can't look away from that option, right? When so many mid laners have been banned away from you, or the AP specifically, mages, Lucian is your close range AD. You need something to help him stay alive, and now you've locked in Ornn fourth. You need to have scaling. Ornn Poppy, 0 damage. The way that this game's going to play out, top lane isn't real. And so lots of freedom there for the bot side of the map of Kanga, but the Chiefs with their counter picks, knowing that that's going to happen with top having a free Gnar pick, and the Victor going to be responded in mid here, Skimmy is an odd one, but can absolutely control a Veigar in a war of attrition.
Yeah, you know, you're going to have the ability to sort of outrange at times, right? You all have the layered CC, but not going to be the easiest to try and combine with, say, Arthur, to try and get those two online nice and early, but certainly going to be a menace if they're going to try and scale alongside one another. I guess the exciting part for me is Lemus was part of the reintroduction at a time when Lucian had fallen out of favor, brought it back, looked exceptional on it, played the ruler build from LCK with the one-shot Galefull Tsunami.
Yeah, I was going to say ruler brought it back, and then Gubayushi brought it back.
Or brought it back to Osh.
And then Kanga brought it back to Oast because they saw that and they're like, damn, that's some shiny tech. Like we gotta pick that one real quick. And they did work, they did make it work. Interesting thing for the Chiefs as well, right, is that with their last pick, they were still looking for scaling themselves, given that they had the Kalista bot lane.
Yep.
Gnar can still always be good, but isn't a hyper carry. So that Victor is kind of like a bridging point who, 1, scales, 2, is really good for team fighting, and 3 is a mid-range control mage that is really good into close-range champions that just bursting them out, and Lucian kind of fills the mid to close-range role in team fighting. So the Victor pick could be super clutch here, not just in the way that it can have priority or control of mid lane, but can really work the whole map. My only issue with this Victor pick is, do you run the teleport because you almost need that? Or do you run the cleanse because there is a Veigar and a Poppy that are going to be hounding you down?
Yeah, and that certainly could be the ego reveal in a way, right, as to how you want to try and play out this matchup. Do you believe that it's necessary, or do you play for the team fight later? Or just the macro ability more so than anything? Here are the compositions. Kanga on the left-hand side, a record of 10-10, breaking even already, but would love to break the win streak of the Chiefs, who are hunting for that perfect 21-0. And that is what we're going to find out here as we load in for our 3rd game on the final day of the regular split. A big game. No real implications when it comes to the standings. Chiefs already locked in first, and Kanga already doing battle in that lower bracket. But I guess the question I asked yourself here, Babip, as you join me on the line here is, you know, that now that you are 1 win away, and, you know, this would be, what, only the 2nd time really in Oceanic history that something had ever happened like this. I guess, how cool would it be to emulate what the Chiefs did back in 2015?
I think this game might be even more important than finals, to be honest. No, that would be pretty cool for everyone's careers, I guess, to have that as an achievement that everyone's had in their career. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I guess it has really been a split of many records, right? Fastest games, most kills, and so on and so on. So really, what has there been left to, I suppose, try and achieve in these remaining games to get you as fit as possible going into those best of 5s?
I suppose now the next thing is just going flawlessly through playoffs, not dropping any games to Worlds until we get beaten at Worlds, I guess. myself.
surely it's going to happen. I know you've been there with Legacy. You were one game away, potentially.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, we're going to leave you to it. Wish you boys the best of luck. And yeah, have fun on the final day.
Thank you very much.
Big trades bottom.
Massive trades, isn't it? Instant cleanse of that exhausted. The Ren was ready to go. And Limus in a lot of trouble. And this is, I suppose, what we kind of are expecting to see in this bot lane. Really from the get-go.
Somewhat even trade, all things considered. Chiefs still with a summoner spell advantage. If they get level 2 first and no cleanse, you could expect a flash handshake from Aladoric. You can see him posturing aggressively like he wants to. And so Kanga will have to respect and back off. But as far as health is concerned, that is still pretty decent as Liv. His turn.
It certainly is his turn. Velo's breath goes out, both getting super low and really trying to work around those auto attack animations, but also just the spell cooldowns. It is all on here for that first blood.
Makes you wonder where those junglers are, right? Because it's just so volatile, both bottom and top lane. We've seen countless times in Chiefs games that Arthur just ganks bottom at all costs. Lately, it hasn't always been the case. You can see, of course, the
Mac
fan
was
vote.
on the money.
Yeah, not far off
90-10.
as far as the percentage is concerned. Arthur now being the first to try and move. Foreigner trying to get that red buff. Isn't going to use... Oh, he's going to use the smite for it. 300 HP, just debating me. And we're keeping my eyes firmly peeled on these junglers because they want to have an impact in bottom. Foreigner been spotted. But Arthur with the hover, and so's Tally.
So, yeah, Tally is here, ready to go in. That's the steadfast presence to try and give him the movement speed to run away. There's the handshake, bring him back onto Foreigner. First blood being found in the top lane as Arthur jumps in and assassinates him instead. Jungle v jungle. Limus locked underneath this turret. Still a minion wave is there. Arthur with double buff is dead. He has died to electrocute. And now Nami has the double buff. Nami is going to get this kill onto Aladoric as well. It's a double kill for Nami.
Fido's teleported bottom. Benvi's trying his best Aladoric cosplay here. 2 kills on the Nami. Thank you very much. The dive, I mean, the result of the dive is that Foreigner goes down, and while they get Limas and they'll crash the minion wave, it hasn't been that great for them as an overall trade. We'll see what happens in top lane first and foremost, because this is what went missing during that entire dive bottom. Lived full combo onto Topoon. Seems like he has the angle, but Topoon just wants to play around that hyper proc and just can't get it done. Isn't fast enough. Doesn't have the movement speed to get away from Ornn, who's just bellowing after him.
That felt personal right there. Liv really laying down a law. It's not going to be easy this time.
Bit of payback for the last 2-0-7 games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's found his vengeance. He's set the stakes.
No less. Yeah, crazy dive bottom lane again. This is almost par for the course in a Chiefs game for what it's worth, right? Super aggressive down in bottom lane all the time. Getting in the mix, not just ganking themselves, but stopping Foreigner this time around from getting the gank off. That priority in mid lane was a significant factor in that. Fido was the latest of all of the members to get into the which was actually quite crucial because it also forced Fido's teleport.
Certainly did, and obviously can only go to the tower at that stage, but was there to protect if anything else were to take place. And as we saw, certainly a lot did take place. Yes, it is indeed. The Nami not becoming a fish, but looking to try and become a shark like Aladoric did in his previous exchange. And let's see if this double buff can give them any more control, especially in his very volatile Lucian pairing. You can see now Arthur just hanging outside of vision, waiting for those minions to die so he can sneak himself into that bush.
Also, I will say, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but greedy of Benvi, straight towards the Dark Seal and Lucidity boots instead of rushing an Imperial Mandate component item, right? Aladoric, when he was getting those kills, had like a 7-minute Imperial Mandate because he forewent the boots to go straight for a Mythic. But the upside to having that Dark Seal with the boots is that you could be even stronger if that pays off. You die and don't get stacks on your Dark Seal, then it doesn't actually amount to too much. It's just a little bit of laning strength from the ability power and the health that it can provide. No magic, or rather mana regeneration though, in his item.
It's a gamble. Personal strength, that could be a big factor here to try and continue their success from the very get-go as these two bruises just have at it one more time. Boone hitting level 6 first. And forcing Liv underneath his turret one more time. Arthur's just being hovering top to bot where the volatility is to be found and just waiting.
Yeah, certainly just seeing if he can find an impact, seeking action, seeking a bloodthirsty playstyle. Drake is up. Herald is going to be up in a minute, and that's where the play starts to really get involved into the mix here. For what it's worth, mid lane does seem to be... Oh, actually, hold that.
Here we go, jumping away. He's still going to get knocked up, but still, Arthur wasn't too far behind. Ignite goes on top of his head. He's got the safeguard. There we go. Looking to try and get the knock. He's got it again with the Bellows Breath. It's fantastic. Arthur now, for sure, has this kill ready to go with a ward hop, making it look effortless, but he's got Topoon's number so far.
Wave's still decent for Topoon, however, so just keep that in mind. Benvi hovering mid lane. If the cage had connected, Fighter would have been able to put down a nice bit of extra damage. The Tide Caller's blessing, but not going to find it. Not going to find the control ward placed either. Nicely in that bush. That's pretty standard place to check, but I think got perhaps baited in by the Scryer's Bloom. Limas has turned to have a fight. I don't know if he wants it.
Yeah, decides to have a crack without the Nami buff available. This is going to be very interesting to see how this one starts to take effect once level 6 is there.
With this matchup as well, it's going to be one thing that I wouldn't say is overlooked, but not often considered. Kalista can dodge almost every single piercing line from Illusion. You're either lucky or you play it correctly, right? Because you can 90-degree dash.
Ooh, drags Benzi underneath the turret. Cops the turret shot as well. Down to 50%. Let's get to see if those moves are there. They can find those advantageous trades to try and pull ahead. Because right now, I mean, Raze, all things considered, still does have the flawless KDA, does have a CS advantage too. Certainly a strong point for them to get excited about. As we mention them, there they go for it. Limas flashing away from his support, but it doesn't deny death. As Raze gets a double, and we highlight it, and it happens even more.
Yeah, they just have too much control. This is a non-ignite Lucian Nami, non-exhaust as well. Kick in mid.
Looking for it.
Sonic Wave misses.
Fido's running away from that Chaos Storm, but where are you going to go? There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. Arthur now, 3 kills to his name too. And Foreigner had leashed the Herald. He wants it to try and reset, but Arthur will gratefully go for a smite fight here, no doubt about it. Out goes the helicopter. It will not connect. Ooh. And it's been stolen away.
Arthur, I mean, that was against an Ice Smite as well from Foreigner. You can't have timed that better. That's actually unreal that Arthur gets that. But for what it's worth, he does. He is now 3-1 on his Lee Sin with an Ida summon. Foreigner going to walk towards top lane. Lift has definitely been a strong point for them in this draft, in this game. Not in this draft, but he was on. He's been doing exceptionally well. And that mid little play there from Arthur, even though the Sonic Wave connects on a minion and doesn't find its mark, has the flash, so they'll still get the kills thereafter. The biggest issue is bot lane. And we'll see this skirmish one more time because Raze and Aladoric, they're able to find their handshakes and the Kalista starts getting those auto attacks off. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Oh, Liv's missed the ult. He's missed the ult. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't change the outcome. Vengeance there. Foreigner having been denied that Herald will not be denied a kill. Even Benvi there as well. So what can Chiefs find in this bot lane to make it a fair 1-for-1?
Well, it's going to be at least 1 plate. Looking at 2 plates here as well. And look at the minion wave that is being denied by them that Limas cannot farm. He's going to take the red buff from the looks of it. Beyond this red, however, if he shows bottom, he can definitely be engaged on. So he's needing to wait for his team for reinforcements. Chiefs not willing to go for the Drake just yet. Not willing to sacrifice the time required when they can be bloodthirsty instead.
Uh-oh. Great cage on top of his head right there. Still looking to try and go for that solo kill. He's got the Gauntering Kid, the only mythic in the game, and just kicks him away. And with the sunglasses on, makes it look ever so cool. Now Raze having to dodge every single tick of this culling. He gets that bailout, and now he's just really running away, and potentially that could be the reset that makes us look at Drake instead.
Yeah, he's able to survive, and Arthur just puts in the legwork himself, right? They find Fido just in transition, moving from mid towards the bot side jungle. Whether he was placing a ward or not, doesn't matter. He will find Arthur. And perhaps the assumption was that Arthur was doing the Drake. Well, he wasn't. He was killing you instead, and the Drake is now an afterthought. It was a very free afterthought at that. And 0-3 Topoon steps up to the plate once more.
Yep, wallop Nara into the wall as well. And it seems to be the common theme, right? Topoon is constantly in a position like this, but it has been Lived getting the kills instead. Once again, destroys the pillar, gets a nice brittle charge, and looks to hold his own in this 1-for-1. Or in this 1v1, rather.
And no flash there on the Nar means that Livs could absolutely look for a full damage combo. I am wondering if he'll wait for the next unsealed spellbook proc, or if he'll try and find a window where Topoon is locked, is just tired and can't transform into Mega Nar to actually get those kills off. Tally also quietly achieving in mid lane, it must be said, has been farming up a storm. Bottom,
Here we go. Fate's Call drags Aladoric in. Instant cleanse again.
Yeah, Limas is mad.
Limas really can't do much about this, can he?
It just doesn't matter if Renata ults you and there's no one to chase. You just walk away.
These summoners don't exist this game. Permanently on cooldown.
They are. They really are. That flash is up in about a minute, so let's see them burn that one. Herald summon. Tower basically dead mid.
Well, all the plates have been claimed easily by the bot lane of Chiefs, so why does Arthur need to go there? Just puts it in the mid lane. Tally already having a full 1-level lead over his counterpart. He's going to get a lot more gold as a result too. Foreigner now on the great chase. Sonic Wave, will that stop him? I don't think it will. Puts down the stasis trap. They've got a sidestep around that one. A flash and a knock up into the wall, and that's what you need. That's a phenomenal cage, and that's a huge play by Kanga.
Fantastic play by Kanga. Consider it starts with a Nami tidal wave that may not find the person they're after, but forces a flash and just sets everything in motion. Top fighting.
Looking for it again. Yes, it's the all-in as the Call of the Forge God comes on down, but Tapoon is starting to pack a bit of a punch so far, so they're nowhere near anywhere as confident as he has been in these previous kills. But we have to look at that mid-jungle play one more time, surely.
And it's kills into the right places as well, you know. It's the ADC, it's the mid laner, the people that need those kills desperately starting to find a semblance of control. An opportunity in this game presents itself just from a very wide flank from the Poppy. Best case scenario for them. They find Tally. Tidal Wave will cut off the immediate exit path, will force the flash out, and then it's as simple as chasing. Flashes over the gravity field. Locked in a cage, but knocked up by Poppy to make sure that cage connects. And Elise Sin without flash cannot get out because you would be ward hopping into a stun.
Lanes have now been flipped. 13 minutes into this one. Next Herald ready to be contested in just over a minute now.
Arthur dives this for sure. I think particularly the second they see the mid-jungle of Kanga, they have permission to launch. So they're a little bit hesitant for the moment. Raze, you can see, postured safer towards his control wards. They'll find Foreigner.
What about Dorok as well? Cage goes down again. Instant interruption as Arthur flashes forward but gets stunned in the mix of it. Instead, Sonic Wave goes across the wall. The fadeaway kick, it wasn't lethal. It was very close. Second place prize, mid-tier 1.
Yeah, you take that one. You'll still be able to break the turret. Not the first of the game, but the second for the Chiefs. And Herald up in 30 seconds, so still an objective to disengage towards. Using their mid laner basically as a point of strength, right? They didn't play around the top dive because they didn't know where Fido and Foreigner were. They found them, and the hard way, they made sure that Foreigner and Fido cannot contribute to this. As Benvi, I honestly was really hoping that Raze wouldn't check for about 3 to 5 seconds, but found him.
Razor Moat really sums it up perfectly. Yeah, what was that?
Bruh.
Wow. Yeah, you thought there was a moment in which they could have 2v1 collapsed and punished the solo experience Callista.
Yeah, it was just, you know, seconds away from maybe finding it. Raze ever vigilant.
Holds his own, protects his bounty, the only one in the game at this early game stage. Now here is that second Herald. Let's see what Kanga can do.
Yeah, looks like they want to contest this one. Raze is about to have cleared the wave, however, minions crashing at the top turret, so Chiefs can commit themselves to the play a bit more. Aladoric, no hostile takeover. Arthur, no kick.
Trellis is on, and all the CC from Kanga is gone. All they have left now is the knockback away. That doesn't connect. A flash on in. Instant Fate's Call straight back onto Foreigner one more time. Inside the inner circle. Blast Cone griefs him. Poppy is dead. A lamb to slaughter. Another cage goes down, but Aladoric's got the moves like Jagger. He's dodging left, right, and center. Arthur jumps in. Tag team combo. Kick, flash, and a Sonic Wave that barely scrapes him.
Oh, Limas dashes forwards. Double bubble was really nice, but it's more of a deterrent. Teleports are going to come in here as well.
What can Liv do here? Surely sound the horn. Another TP comes in. Liv's like, I don't know if I want this anymore. My team's not here. He's angry, but who's he attacking? No one. He's dead.
He's just dead. Liv just cobbing to his team, I'm teleporting in, and his team says, but for what? like, take this red nose, King. Unfortunately, just dies. Tapoon hunting Limas. There's still mini.
Oh, that is so dangerous, Tapoon. He's just face checked. Ooh. Oh, the flash. Oh, no. Okay.
No, Limas flashes as well. That was actually really nice, but also ults them away. Tapoon feeling himself for better or worse here, isn't he?
We nearly had Tapoon version 2.
Yeah. Just taking those fights. Drake goes the way of the Chiefs. Again, 2 Drakes back-to-back for them. A 5k gold lead as well. To put it simply, I don't think there is a better Lee Sin than Arthur in the LCO, and I think that is currently by a large margin. He's putting on an absolute clinic and shows, again, high skill expression champions with the ability to show that off. The difference that it can make is prolific.
The four that spring to mind for me, I'd be looking at Goodo, Volkan.
Volkan, I would say
Lisa.
second. Lisa, this split, no. Lisa, traditionally, yeah. Lisa, this split has had a very unfortunate time with that Lee Sin. I think he might be 0-3.
Yeah, certainly has been pretty for him, the outcome in those games. Div now could be in a bit of trouble again. Instant flash across the wall, taking no chances whatsoever. Arthur was there to cut off his retreat. And with the Shrelliers, you are just getting run down by the lunge of that Kalista.
One does have the ultimate up now and is level 11. Can't fully clear a wave with it, but could potentially trim it if Kanga are looking to push somewhere else. They're putting no real emphasis towards bottom, but a teleport mid means that that will be confirmed. Herald summon top, so no reason to sound the horn. It is very dead. The challenge comes for this second turret. Kanga committing themselves.
Yeah, it's a race now to see who can get more value out of the
Mega
siege.
has a teleport.
Toon doesn't have flash, however.
No, he wants to.
He's very keen for it. Tidal Wave knocks him out. They isolate the kill onto Tally, and that was gorgeous. Honestly, a phenomenal play by Kanga. 2 turrets have been found by either side, top for mid. But Chiefs had to disengage first.
The Herald does get killed by Liv, just barely before it gets another charge off. Still just going to be in a turrets effectively traded a piece between both teams. I think there's a bit of extra money in an outside lane turret, but when all said and done, it is still Kanga keeping up. And that's the most important thing for me, right? Is we know that Chiefs are the best team in our league presently. They're chasing the perfect split. They haven't lost a game yet in the LCO. Kanga show us moments of brilliance where you're like, this is what this team is really made of. But between that, you know, woven in between is the occasional mistakes or the undoing of them. And that's the type of thing that you can't really afford to do against the Chiefs because they're so quick on the uptake. They're so quick to capitalize and punish you. But they still make good plays. And so they bring it back. It's 4,000. It's not going to be a 6,000 gold lead. It's just that the issue is it's still 4,000 gold.
It still is the lead, and Chiefs are very well equipped to find those leads and utilize them to very good effect as Arthur, once again, with the killer instinct, is on the hunt and had found himself a Fido who held his nerve, didn't flash away, just self-cast the cage and wait to see what Chiefs' next move is. But that's what's exciting for me.
They know where Arthur is. If he goes for these Raptors, he dies.
Oh, hold that
The map.
Oh no. Chucked into the wall. It's a mountain map. You love it. You're a Bard player, but there's no Bard in this game. But Benvi would love to try and find some moments in which they can really find those kills. Arthur really unpunished. Ultimately, yes, his health bar is low. Chiefs still advancing into enemy territory.
They needed Limas to be there doing damage. Ultimately, if you look at the items of Arthur, it is Merc Treads and a Hex Drinker building towards a more second, is stacking MR. Kind of removing Fighter, removing Foreigner, Liv's damage as well as Benvi out of the game by a fair bit. And so Limas is going to be a crucial, integral part of the team fight damage that they deal to kill this Lee Sin. You can see what happens, right? Doesn't get stunned for long enough. He's able to disengage. He's just able to survive. Not healthy, but alive.
He'll be content with that outcome, however, because Chiefs are just playing for turrets. It's a 4-2 discrepancy so far. Lived with a one-man knock-up just onto Tally. Call it a Forge Gold once again knocks up 2. Massive hostile takeover. Cancels the angle that Kanga had coming on through. Big silence and an even bigger Chaos Storm coming out of the Victor. And Kanga have just poked their head into bot lane and said, I'm not keen.
Yeah, Kanga try and make the play, but the issue that they're going to run into is that they engage by sounding an Orn Horn and running quickly. They have a Predator and they have a Poppy that just want to sprint at you. Meanwhile, the Chiefs push the barrel by God, make your mind up.
Yeah, Observer's having too much fun with this one because there's too much action. Mid lane a turret falling on down. Bot lane a potential fight breaking out. Kanga's jungler utilizing the ult to try and knock them back, and maybe you've bought yourself one more wave, but your health bars are low. You've got to go back.
Yeah, they've been overdue for a recall just because of what happened with that earlier trade bottom, right? They try and make the play, but like we were trying to say, right, you walk into a Renata, you walk into a Victor, you're going to have a really hard time of it. Standard affair for a lot of Poppy compositions that we've spoken about before, right? Direwolf suffered from this with some earlier drafts in the season, but they do have an Ornn and an army to compensate. I will say that Kanga's still fairly well-rounded as a comp, but it's super difficult for the damage of the team to walk into the damage of the Chiefs' roster. That is the issue that they're currently facing. How does a Lucian and a Veigar do anything but front to back?
Yeah, one rogue dash forward to try and kill Sakura's Lucian. You will severely be punished with the amount of jump potential that Chiefs certainly do have back.
Oh, also Collector. Second item here for Limas. Teleport coming through from Fido to protect Limas.
Well, Limas will be wanting to try and collect as many members as he can, but will he just get collected instead? Aladoric in with the Fate's Call, a self-cast of the bailout, and he is just gone. Arthur jumping on through, surrounding multiple members, and Roundhouse kicking him to make it look easy. It's going to get knocked up again as Tapoon comes in with the boulder, leaps into action, and locks him down for what feels like an eternity. They could not move, they could not play, and across the wall, Liv runs away.
Wrong side of the map, though, has to juke them and will do so correctly, but Chiefs have their eyes set on the Baron. They don't really care about the Ornn and what he can provide. That was a fantastic 4 for basically one trade. Everyone left up and standing with enough health to do this Baron buff. I think that's basically the bow on it that the Chiefs were after. And it all kind of starts to protect Limas and just cascades out of control.
Yeah, these cages have been doing a number, but it just wasn't enough there. We're going to see one more time how it all starts by just Raze jumping ahead.
And look at Kanga all above Limas. Like, this is this really extended 2-part bait. Nami and Poppy sitting together. It starts with a kill onto Aladoric, and you're thinking this is actually not bad, but they can't kill Raze. They can't kill Arthur. He is actually unkillable if Limas is out of the fight. And then Topoon comes in, just wallops them. Tally hits it home, doubles up the combo. And they were done by the time that Topoon got in. That's how much damage Arthur was doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that Raze was untouched through all of that, 504 still with the stopwatch, he's unbeatable.
And I mean, Benvi did as much as he could, right? A tidal wave that locks him in down. 2-man bubble that had to be instantly cleansed, flashed out of because another cage was coming down from the Veigar. Still not enough potential to shut him down, to force out that stopwatch, to really claim that major 1K shutdown.
Lee Sin always been a win more champion as well, and we're starting to really cop those vibes in this game. He's been winning so hard that it is almost a one-man wrecking crew. Really adds up.
Once again, a hostile takeover comes across, and it's a
Watch
very
out, Nami's
angry
mad.
Nami. Oh, that's scary.
That's a spicy fish. Baron-empowered cannon minions are starting to chip away at the turrets, but it does seem like Kanga can handle them with relative ease.
The wave setup for me, Rusty, is
Yeah,
phenomenal
they're
right
waiting
now.
for Topoon. They're
Top
playing
lane is
super
pushing
slow.
passively. Topoon's going to come through in the mid wave as well. They can sync this up, which is what they're doing right now.
Also synchronized with Meganar from Topoon, who will crash this wave and immediately threaten the collapse, throw some rocks at them. And if they don't take the bait, he's just going to hit that mid lane turret. Lived walks away because he's got to deal with it, and this is effectively a way to chip away at turrets as well. If Kanga make a mistake, and they're being so hard pressured, turret drops, game could end.
Kanga on the spot above her right now. Fighter gets dragged in, instant Fate's Call, taking him outside of that cage. Call to the Forge God. It's a bit of an airball, yes, it knocks up Aladoric, but that's not what you want. Chaos Storm once again inside the base. Benvi is low, but they've just one-shot Aladoric again. He does not get to play. Every opportunity has been removed away from protecting him. And still the Baron buff remains. Raze inside that pit is fighting. He gets ulted at full HP. He gets Liver Frosted too. He's got the stopwatch. Burns it now. Tapoon and Victor running to the bot lane. Big bubble! And that's an even bigger shutdown. That's the carry you wanted on. It's been found by Phyto. Foreigner limps away. Tapoon still in Mega. Has no flash, but lands the wallop. There's the knock-up one more time. And Kanga have held strong and protected their base.
They hold the fort. They will lose their turret in mid lane. There is still an open inhibitor to be taken, but they will defend bottom. They will make sure that top bounces. And they will find the cage twice in a row. That's all it takes. Find the cage, lock someone down. Even if you exhaust the Veigar, he does a lot of damage. And they couldn't even get the exhaust off this time because Aladoric was already dead. The strength of Everfrost, if I'm going to be honest.
It really is.
Disgusting item.
Last big Veigar, though, is putting in work. The area denial that this cage is threatening them with. They try and fight you within that reach.
Yeah, he's definitely also ingenious hunting with his Predator Everfrost spec, so trying to lock people down constantly. Kanga grouped up mid as 5. Poppy can deny the Lee Sin when it comes to team fights, but who can deal with Tally? That is my question.
Very little magic resist, so he will be doing a lot of damage right now. Good Forge God once again. Aladoric is the first casualty. He managed to land his ult though before he died. So Chiefs still relatively topped up in this 4v5 situation. Soul Point up for grabs in 10.
Still 5 members strong. Kanga, they're going to try and control the mid wave, but they need to get into the river at some point. And look at the Chiefs. They're just standing and delivering. Throwing Lee Sin Sonic Waves, throwing boomerangs, spears out of Fog of War, lasers now to come out as well. Kanga, they're relying on Foreigner with this wide flank, but he's about to be spotted and he's one hittable.
He's about to get one shot, and Nesta set fast presence.
engaged.
That's a massive 3-man knockoff from the Ornn. Limus has found the kill. He's removed Raze again. He had all the summoners, but he didn't have any options. A big double kill shutdown, and that denies the soul point.
And it's not something that Chiefs need to go crazy for, right? Topoon did have Mega Knight, did have Flash. He could have looked for the play once the cage was gone, but accepted the fight was gone. Right, there is no Aladoric for the forefront of this Foreigner. MVP play here, twice in a row finding big engages, stops the hop from the Gnar, ults them, knocks them all up and just stun locks. The kick from Lee Sin was as good as you're going to get in that situation, but it was losing when it started. And that is Kanga getting creative, that is Kanga finding the angle that they need, because they're not willing to front to back with Chiefs just hurling skill shots.
Phenomenal play there from Foreigner, finding the angle, and yes, you can see me, but can you actually stop me? And what I'm able to really dish out here to set up for my team. And that gold lead continues to be relatively competitive, right? Only 5k separating them. Another Baron in 30 seconds.
Feels like a bit of deja vu. It is only 5k again, but another mistake, and it balloons. Remember, they have an open inhibitor mid lane, Skimmy, so if they lose a fight in mid lane, the game could end. But they've caught Arthur.
They certainly have
They've
caught
really
Arthur.
caught him.
He's not going to take much damage, though. Limus was in the area, but not willing to commit without knowing where the rest of Chiefs were currently positioned.
I think that the TLDR as well for everyone is if Limas is freely hitting, it looks good for Kanga, because that means they've positioned or set up in a way where their Lucian is free to just be unbridledly aggressive. If Tally is freely hitting and Raze are freely hitting for the Chiefs, then there really is no way that Kanga can survive that fight. That's really what it comes down to in my mind, is everyone is stacking magic resistance on the Chiefs. You look at their items, there's a Wit's End, a Banshee's Veil, a Maw of Malmortius stun. Limas needs to find people to hit. He needs to find perks in a team fight, or Fido needs 7 items and 60 minutes. Not the TV show.
Aladoric once again just copping all the pain and the punishment. Ult being used on Cordan to try and protect him as another cage goes out, and Arthur thankfully with the wind-up time can walk away. Bot lane is where the bruises are at, and the siege continues. Looking to try and open up another possible inhibitor for Chiefs to try and work their magic on. Predator having been popped now as Kanga advanced straight through the mid lane. Looking to try and route Chiefs out of their own side of the jungle and push them back for the meantime so they can claim even more objective bounties.
Do they go to the Baron? Do they go to the Baron? That is the question. Fido, if he doesn't show on this next wave mid, Chiefs have to have an inclination that it could be done. He's going to prioritize the mid wave first and foremost. The blue trigger inside the Baron pit just placed by the Chiefs. Needs to be taken out first and foremost as well. Mentioned side lane Topoon with a 2-level lead out of nowhere, it feels like as well. 0-3 with a bounty. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah, he'll be the first to max level, no doubt about it.
Lived also has contributed to both of his solo laners with those ornament upgrades.
Good vision toggle from the observers here, noting that Chiefs will know exactly what Kanga are doing on this feigned Baron dance. As the set of cooldowns come out from the Victor one more time. Just buying more time for Topoon more than anything, in my mind.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Kanga to sit in a bush against the Chiefs comp, right? Because they can throw lasers, they can throw sonic waves, they can use Renata's abilities, they can just try and make Kanga reveal themselves. Shoes on the other foot this time around. Foreigner needs to face check, sees that it's being done, cannot see its HP. Kanga feel pressured to move in. Fido.
TPs are out
Cage
if they
is
were
down.
required, but Topoon will be coming in at 50% despite very close to
They keep
Mega.
it aggroed at 7k.
They have kept it aggroed, but they will disengage away. It would be a flip that I don't think either team would be comfortable going for.
Oh, it's one hit though. The bot lane inhibitor turret is one hit. We're starting to hit that point where enough time has passed. Look at the Chiefs. Once again, they'll bide their time. Kanga leave. Fido's going back to base, but they realize it's being done again.
Yeah, Tally playing goalkeepers
Could be
running
too
away.
late.
It's too late. It really is, especially with the Kalista. The Baron is just gone. The tidal wave, it's going to hit nobody, and it was onto a Lee Sin who can just hop across the wall. A patient dance, but elegantly presented to Chiefs.
Foreigner also wasting the ultimate there for no good reason. If he just holds it, it resets the cooldown to be significantly quicker. So the Poppy's not going to have that for a little bit of time. So just keep that in mind if something were to happen immediately. Chiefs with a quick reset. Baron recalls straight back onto the map as they deploy down mid. It is going to be a 2-lane affair for them. Once again, Topoon will escort them through mid-play for bot lane, and a Drake and a Soul is up in 35 seconds. Last time this was up, we saw Kanga win a skirmish. We've seen them kill Aladoric in 2 team fights twice in a row now. He's the easiest target to kill, but he has a flash up.
That's what he does. Has a full set of rotation, be it flash, be it exhaust to try and shut down the burst that could be coming out. This incredibly fed Vega. Yes, there's a lot of magic resistance, but he does have damage. Tally, oh no, the stun's phenomenal. They jump onto Foreigner straight away. Arthur looking for the one-shot on towards him. Fighter goes golden for a second. Arthur just waiting for his time, hitting the Dragon Strike. Can he get it? Inside another cage, hops across on towards that Victor trap. Still, Topoon,
dead.
Look at Topoon! Flashing across and just locking down all 4 members. That should be the opening that they do so desperately require to try and close out this game and to try and get the perfect split, Rusty. It's a tidal wave to disengage, but the damage is already done.
It only results in 2 kills here, but it is Phyto that is caught at the forefront of the fight. Chiefs, Baron buff in hand, looking to push forwards. It might just be 2 inhibitors. They're going to go towards bottom. They should be able to tank this one out. Guardian Angel's there, worst case scenario anyway. Raze is going to put an emote up because Arthur shields Tally and just insults his AD. But they're going to disengage towards the Drake, and it's looking like a Mountain Soul. You can make the top laner of the Chief 0-3, but you cannot stop the best Nara in this region from finding those angles.
And there's something about him playing the Nara, right? And when he has those explosive moments, be it regular season, be it in the playoffs, he finds a little bit of magic despite the KDA, finds a way to try and give them that one big opening.
And Foreigner, I feel like, I want to watch this again, he has an angle here to use the slam at any point. Just never does. Flashes away. I'm not sure if it was a cooldown or if it was a Banshee's Veil where it was like buffered and we didn't get to see it either way. Fighter was the one who gets caught with the Zonias. They rout themselves. They also choke point themselves here. And Liv realizes that Topoon's an issue, but Topoon says, get out of my way. Locks them all down. And it's very easy for the Chiefs to take that and absolutely sprint with it. But they just can't quite get Venvi or Limas. And Liv had that flash.
All they can get is a Mountain Soul. Every Drake to their name. Every objective so far in this game has been theirs. It's been domination, but it's been with a pinch of hesitation, you'd say, because despite the gold lead, despite the objective, despite all that in consideration, these fights have been very close. Kanga have still been incredibly creative in their positioning.
Certainly have been close fights, and I guess the big thing now though, and this has been a recurring point in my mind for a lot of Lucian games that we get, I do think that Lucian can be considered a bait pick, can be considered a trap pick, and the reason for that is it's so hard to play Lucian in competitive play come team fight. Right? If you are the sole AD as a Lucian, you're a close range champion, most mid lane control mages will have a very good time into you. You can one-hit everyone, yes. You have a Nami in your pocket, so you're so dangerous. But you need to be so good at the game to find those angles. This is one of them.
Looking for it, looking for the full one-shot on towards Sally, who's going to go golden for the meantime, but only delaying the inevitable, and it's Benvi of all people that claims that shutdown. Chiefs were putting in pressure towards the top half of the map to try and open up that third and final inhibitor. Maybe spreading the resources thin in all 3 lanes.
It is an 8-stack Dark Seal on this Nami. 3 stacks there for a Medjai's, of all things as well, for Fido. Somehow manages to get one of those. And they are banking on a mistake from the Chiefs. I think that's the reality of it. They've kind of set the standard, set the stage. We spoke about their draft earlier. Very hard for them to move forwards. Fido looks like he will be fine because he's got a cage to put down, but the game plan is simple. If the Chiefs make a mistake...
Oh, look at that, Topoon. He's just trying to 1v2 inside the base.
He must know sums.
Nemus put very low, and without those summoners now, going to have an even harder time in these next big team fights, right? Be it the next Baron.
And that's it, right? The Lucian, very hard to actually keep alive without the Gale Force in the first place. Had to use both summoners against Topoon. Doesn't get easier for him as time passes. Needs to be picture perfect, and not everybody is T1.
No. Certainly is easier said than done. Doesn't have the rapid fire cannon as well to try and really start off the fight with a fair bit of burst. And has opted for that collective variation instead, now going in for the Armor Shred 2.
Which is very much needed. His 4th item going over the Armor Shred with armor starting to be completed by the Chiefs. Wouldn't have minded it earlier, but it doesn't matter too much. Topoon is where they put their eyes towards, but he sees them first with a ward. Baron in 45.
That's what it's all to come down to. Will this game be finalized at this next Baron, or will it prolong itself for a spawning of the Elder Drake? No doubt Kanga will be hoping for that.
Remember, Chiefs hunting the perfect game here. They don't want to make a mistake that costs them this game. Of all times to make that mistake, it cannot be your 21st game of 21. So they will play cool, calm, and collected. Kanga, the team that are really hoping that Chiefs make a mistake so they can catch them. And if you catch them out, you have got enough damage to win the game, to win the team fight at the very least and bring yourself back into it. With Baron being on the cards, you have to move so far out of your base to actually get there. I don't know if they can contest.
I don't think so, because look at the lane states right now. All 3 waves pushed against them, superimposed in the mid and bot side. It's the easiest call for Chiefs to go straight towards this Baron, and that is just gone.
I think the only thing that realistically Kanga want to contest is the Elder. But losing the Baron buff makes getting out of your base even harder. Makes getting control of this red side quadrant of the map that they've got vision for now even harder.
Thankfully, they will have that vision to keep tabs as to where Chiefs will go next. And if it were to come down to a potential flip and smite steal, then they would be equipped to do just that. Inhibitors are starting to respawn, both back up and available. This may be the best chance that Kanga will have all game.
It does feel like the clock is ticking. Lima's going to dash away from that Sonic Wave, but it was close. Benvi, Foreign have been sitting in bushes together. They do remember need Limas to deal damage in these team fights. No matter how much they CC lock them down, Culling's out.
They're on, they have to run away. Tidal Wave looking for it. Foreigner crashes the headbutt into the charge and then actually hits the Fate's Call. Aladoric lives on a sliver of health. He's got the Mountain Salt, and that might have been enough there, Rusty. They're going to try and run away. The hostile takeover. That's the disengage, but it's the one shot into Aladoric. That bailout will do nothing. But look inside the base, Rusty. It was a 3-man split. Tally taking top side. Tapoon reclaiming the bot half. And they'll say, keep chasing, because your base is gone.
They just get drawn in. They get drawn in, they get baited further and further. Tapoon will take an inhibitor. Tally has already taken his. Fido looking for the flank. They really need to kill this Gnar. He's just going to flash at him.
He flashed at them,
Get him, Tapoon.
Leaped into action. And he is Spider-Man right now. He is a superhero. He's taking him on 1v3. Foreigner, I'm not scared of you. Fancy feet, wombo combo, dodge this. Okay, I'm dead.
He did dodge everything except for the targeted primordial burst that does 80% of your HP, because that's how that works. Look, he did what he could. Tapoon tried to make the play. You've got an Elder Drake up in 4 seconds, however. And no top laner for 45. Tally has teleported into the fray. They would like a positive health trade before this Drake is looked at. We said Kanga on a clock. That is still true. Fido's got the teleport. He can come in with a flank. Lived the exact same. Both are going to come in. Kanga have decided this is the do or die moment for them. It is a flip at Elder in a 4v5.
Chiefs need to land a lot of poke right now and let these minions buy themselves time to go inside the base and try and end this game. Hostile takeover once again comes across, only hits onto 2 members. The fight breaks out. Liv looking for that initial target. It's going to come down to a smite steal right now. Arthur, can he look to try and steal this one away? Jumps in and steals the Elder Rusty. Chiefs are just from a different cloth. They are unbelievable with the ace.
And Kanga choose to take the flip. Chiefs say thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. They will take the team fight clean without their top laner in a 4v5. In fact, Tapoon's going to teleport in without the Elder Dragon buff and say, all me, I took these turrets. Redemption for good measure, and Chiefs, that perfect split is theirs.
It certainly is. They've been the team to beat, their team to watch all split long. 21 flawless games back to back. They are record setters.
And I think a big statement to be made here as well. Not only is it a perfect full split from them in the lead up to playoffs, but it's proof that they just cannot be stopped. They are a super team. They've proven it from game number 1, and they've only continued that record through the entirety of the season and gotten better and better throughout. And a much improved Chiefs, even without a loss.
Even without a loss and just with so much to prove, really it feels to me as if that split 1 final still haunts them in their memories, right? The fact that it should have been us. We were built to be a super team. Why wasn't that us? Well, there you go.
I found Chiefs. That's a crown, right?
Yeah, it is a king.
Yeah, they're
Poro.
kings.
It's a Poro king.
They're Poro kings. That's what they're. This is pretty much Chiefs summed up
that a crown?
in a little.
It's like,
That is a crown.
little
Yeah,
plushie.
it is.
It really is. Look, so Chiefs, first of all, huge congratulations to them for, I guess, enduring that game and finally ending it at the end with a bloody burger flip at the Elder. Crazy old days. And look, Kanga even really pushed it to them, even though in terms of gold, Chiefs were always up, always seemed to have a game plan, but then every now and then just got caught out, just barely had to wait the extra time to allow Kanga to push out, let the flow of the game push those waves back in, go for that 4-1 split, got that extra Baron, but an entertaining one. It was a very, very fun game.
It was a very, very fun game and a very long one. And, you know, respects to Kanga to actually push Chiefs to the nearing 40-minute mark, which is pretty much unheard of in the LCO. I believe that, you know, looking at the two drafts, Chiefs had a clear in mind of they want to focus on that bot lane because they want to shut down the Illusion army, which is exactly what we saw from the jungler. However, with Mechanics Max coming out of Benvi, the AD carry of the two, he grabbed 2 kills from that early game. But look, lived solo killed Tapoon twice in that top lane as well, which is something we all need to highlight. And look, Foreigner also got a lot of good flanks in those team fights where he was able to stop Lee Sin and Kalista from escaping, but I think just Tally on this Victor had so much damage in this late game where he has such a long range. He has 3 people on this ultimate in this Elder Pit where 2 of them were able to... it's just such a shame because I think it was the angle to win, but Liam is not being ahead enough in that early game really made Kanga suffer.
They almost needed to pull the Elder Dragon out of the pit
that's
because
what I'm thinking.
they kind of bottlenecked themselves in against a control mage and they just couldn't actually survive while trying to take the Drake at the same time.
It was very dangerous. What was Foreigner's health when he smited? Was he low? Because I thought I saw it at about half.
I didn't catch it.
He went for the expecting Arthur to smite at the same time, full flip, smited first, left the dragon there on 500 health. And
I mean, it's like the Cho'Gath Kalista argument, right? Like it's always going to be a fraction easier to try and secure it with that, I suppose, but yeah.
Crazy
game.
days. So Goldgraph as well, always in favor of Chiefs, but a little bit wibbly wobbly. You can see when things were going right for Kanga there. But look at Tally's damage, almost up at the 40k mark.
I want to congratulate Kanga on actually pulling the trigger on Aladork in a lot of those situations. I think this is probably one of the weaker games we've seen Ali play, especially on this Renata, because his mistakes were definitely exposed by Kanga in every instance, because you're not a mobile support champion.
Yeah.
He's been killed, and that's exactly what Kanga did. They weren't afraid to pull the trigger, which is something to look out for as we head into playoffs.
Well, we'll head into playoffs shortly. We still got one game here remaining, but we also have another interview with the king, the big man in the mid lane with the big damage, big old T-Man. Jimmy.
Hey,
Jimmy's what they call you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How you doing after that one? How's it feel? You know, perfect split, 21 and zip.
I mean, the perfect split feels good, but that game felt really bad. I think even you saw it in the player cameras, I don't think anyone was happy with that win. So like going 20-0 doesn't actually it doesn't feel good yet.
It'll feel good tomorrow though. Look, just let it sink in. That one's out of the way. It's kind of like that Gravitas Mammoth game yesterday. Even though Mammoth got that win, none of them were happy with it. It was one of those real belters. Was it the pressure that sort of pushed you guys there, or do you just think, you know, you were playing not as well as you wanted to, or was Kanga actually sort of catching you off guard a little bit?
I mean, I think we were just playing awfully. Kanga just came out like all guns blazing, and like we couldn't really do much about it. Like they just had a really good comp to deny us the ability to snowball, because like we're also at short range besides like me, and like playing into Vega and Ornn was obviously bad, and like we missed a ban, which was actually just Ornn, so that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of hard to like end the game after we like demolished bot lane.
Yeah, and as the playoffs are coming very, very soon, let's talk about the teams that have already locked in for playoffs, because we all know that everyone's been hyping up PGG to be the rival for Chiefs, but from their recent performance up against you guys kind of stomped on them, and up against Kanga, that was a completely different story. So do you think we should look out for someone else?
I mean, when we play against like PGG, their playstyle is the same regardless of their gold lead or like game standard. So when they lose really, really hard, and like when they win hard. So it's like when they get stomped, it's like pretty obvious. And other teams like Order and Kanga, like they play much more slow and like scaling. So you don't win as hard against them, but it doesn't mean the game wasn't easier to play. I do think like PGG are like really good. So like they're probably going to be our main competition, and like we have to prepare well, giving all the time we have off now.
Okay, so in that upper bracket match, you've got PGG, you've got Order, that is pretty much locked in, that is 100% locked in now. Out of those two teams, who do you think you're going to be seeing in that upper bracket final?
That's a toughie actually. I would actually give it like it's a flip. It's definitely a flip.
Yeah.
I don't think one side's stronger than the other. They both have their own strengths, but like I think that like either side can win that for sure.
Okay, well, we'll see how that one goes. Tally, either way, we'll let you go. Enjoy the perfect split, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Thank you. See ya.
The words of a perfect split coming out of a king.
Yeah, the man, he was just, well, relatively unhappy, which, you know, but it's still sinking in. They'll be excited tomorrow. They'll be excited on Twitter, and that's where it
I wonder
matters,
if
right?
they're not just more relieved. Because
Yeah.
they were 20-0. They're like, if we lose this one, that's just sad.
We don't want to get
That's
clowned
just
on, yeah.
So sad.
Especially when they
10
started
weeks
to
of
get a
work
little
down the
bit
drain.
You drop a random one halfway through, you just be like, what do you do? But like, you drop the last game, you'd be depressed.
Yeah, it was just a sad sign
Playoffs
going into
debuff.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Dare MVP time. Who was the knee slapper of the match?
Arthur.
Arthur, congratulations. You are the Dare MVP
easy.
of the day.
Wow.
Number
Number
one.
one. Number bloody
number
one.
one.
7, 3, and 8. Man was up and fighting and surviving in a lot of
Yeah.
those fights as well. Somehow, just gore drinking his way to Dubs.
Is he tied with Kisei now? I think he is, right? At 6?
I think he is.
Ooh, maybe.
Potential tie.
I guess
Okay.
we're now just looking towards playoffs to see who was the MVP overall.
We just
Oh,
make
hey. Order still have one game to play. You never bloody know.
I'm
Who
just going to
knows?
put this out there. There's no bias in the lead up to that game. If he gets MVP, it's objective. We're not giving winners out.
Yeah, we'll see. You know,
Oh, we'll see.
LeBlanc got buffed. Maybe we see some kids say LeBlanc. Either way,
LeBlanc
Arthur
James.
on the lead. Sin has been a machine all season. And again, when it's let through, he shows why you shouldn't let it happen. And the smite fights as well, securing Elder at the end, stealing away that first
steal
Herald.
was nuts
Yeah.
because an eye smite combo is almost impossible. You have to smite between the auto attack and the smite.
Yeah.
That is freak behavior.
And that was
That's Korean Lee Sin mechanics.
Yeah, it is.
minimal. The least amount of milliseconds possible, which is how much time we have to go to the break. So ladies and gents, go grab yourself a dare, go grab yourself some water. You need to be hydrated for the final game of the regular split. It's Mammoth, it's Order coming up just after this.
Hostile takeover once again comes across, only hits onto 2 members. The fight breaks out. Liv looking for that initial target. It's going to come down to a smite steal right now. Arthur, can he look to try and steal this one away? Jumps in and
gets it.
steals the Elder Rusty. Chiefs are just from a different cloth. They are unbelievable with the...
Hey, look, menu pop.
That's
You
it.
know, you need a boot, I need a boot, everyone needs shoes.
True.
Why will a cat not need shoes?
Rusty, what happens
They
if you take your
don't.
shoes off? Actually,
Cats
I,
don't need
I
shoes.
honestly think Skimmy doesn't need shoes because he's got some banger socks on right now.
Sheesh.
Couple of flamingos.